Hello and welcome back to Sheets Magic. In the last session, we covered how data validation gives you this drop-down list, and we wanted to create it in a dynamic way so that as things get updated on our data sheet, we can immediately reflect it in our analysis. And I challenged all of you to try doing the same thing for application, facilitation, and content. And so instead of having an endless scroll, what I've gone ahead and done an example down here, you can see almost everything fits into the same page with content, facilitation, application, and net promoter score all spotting this drop-down list. And so we can change and manipulate depending on which region we want to see. So this is great because it allows us to compress data into smaller spaces and so that we don't get overwhelmed by the amount of data there is. But if we go back to look at our data sheet, we have workshops and we have regions. And what if we only want to view the outcomes for a certain workshop and a region? How are we going to do this? To do this, let's start off by keying in regional here. And I'm going to select this and paint format. So I have workshop and I have region. And this would be data validation. So from the range of workshop, and this will be from region. So if you look at my drop-down menu, I have regions here and I have workshops here. So let's count the number of participants. So to get the number of participants, and because I need workshop and region, I'm going to do count ifs. Workshop range is the same as this, and region is the same as this. And so right now it shows 0. But if I choose region central and workshop 1, this will give me 39. And if this is east, shows 0 because there's none in workshop 1. And now in workshop 2, we have 11 people. And I'm just going to lock my formula here with the dollar signs so that this reference doesn't run. So one problem with this is now if I delete region, let's say I want to see for all workshop 2 regions, regardless where they come from, it will return 0. If I click central, there is people, but again, if I don't want to see central, then it shows me 0. So how do I fix this? I can do this by adding another qualifier. If this is blank, what it should do, and if it's not blank, what can it do? Now that I've copy pasted this formula, let's try doing the ifs. So in Sheets, we have this formula if. So returns one value if the logical expression is true and another if it's false. So if something is blank or not blank, then we can generate 2 different formulas. So if region is, which is equals, if blank, and how we represent blank in Sheets or Excel is by 2 inverted commas. So if B80 or this region is blank, so I've copy pasted the formula just now. And now if this is blank, I don't want it to refer to region. So I'm going to remove this. And since it's just count if, I can remove the S. But if not blank, I do want it to count the region. And let's examine this. If B80, this cell here, is blank, I want it to only count workshop. But if it's not blank, so the opposite of this, I want it to count workshop and region. I can then close my bracket and then get the number, which is 49. And now if I click central, the number will change 27. So I can get rid of this. And now you have different criteria that we want to measure, right? We have content, we have facilitation, and we have application. How do we count all of this? You can head up, copy paste the formulas in and try it out for yourself. If you like to give this a try, you can pause the video here and work it out for yourself. But if not, let's get started. So equals if and region. So just now I showed you equals 2 inverted commas is if B80 is blank. I'm going to show you another way to do if it does not equal by doing these 2 sharp brackets left and right. So if it's not blank, I'm going to count if workshop, and if my workshop is this, and if my region is this, and if my content is more than 3. Okay, there's an error here. Count ifs. So if this is not blank, I want it to count workshop, I want it to count region, and I want it to count content if it's more than 3. But if it is blank, I would like it to count ifs workshop equals to this and content is more than 3. Since I don't need the region anymore, close bracket on it. And now let's test this out. So for workshop 2, we can do central, we can do east, and we can do south. So if you haven't quite figured it out, I would recommend pausing the video here and just going through the formula, slowly dissecting it to understand which statement refers to what. If you need help when you key in if, there's always a guide here which shows the logical expression value is true, value is false, and it has some examples. And definitely if you do need more help, you can always go on to Google, YouTube, there's a bunch of resources out there. So what I would encourage you now is to try facilitation and application for yourself. So the quick way to do this is just by locking reference cells. And if I drag this down, all I need to do is change the formula from content to FASI and from content to FASI. And same goes with this. Change this to apply, change this to apply. So that way you can easily view specific regions and you can remove this. And you can put a guide here. Delete this cell if you would like to see data for all regions. So next thing we're going to try out is for NPS. And NPS is just a bit longer, but it's the same foundational skills. And if you've gotten the basics right, then piecing this together shouldn't be too much of a problem. So first up, we have this nested NPS already calculated. Let's copy paste it down. And I'm going to paste another one here. And the reason why I'm not counting immediately into this, if we have long formulas and we want to make sure that things are working, we build them elsewhere and then we nest them together through copy and pasting. So the two things I want to count is, one, if region is blank, and if region is not blank. Now, if you see the formula, you can see region is actually referring to A71, and we don't want that. Actually, we don't even want to refer to region. We only want to refer to workshop 2. So let's change the formula. So instead of region, I want it to refer to workshop, and instead of 79, A79, I now want it to refer to B79. So you can see immediately it's now highlighted as B79. So I can copy paste this, and paste this. And you can see now this formula counts. If it's more than 8, I want the workshop 2 data. If it's less than 7, workshop 2, and if workshop 2 times 100. And now that this is amended, I can copy paste this down. Now, if region is not blank, we want it to count both workshop and region. So again, let's put region in and refer to cell B80. So I can copy paste this and comma, paste this, comma, paste this. And now you can see there's immediately an error. Wrong number of arguments to count if, expect 2 arguments but got 4 arguments. And if you can see in the formula, now this count if is referring to workshop and region, but it's supposed to be count ifs. So now if I have this and I hit enter, so you can see now it's central. If I delete this, this should be an error. But now if I click east, this should change. Right? You notice region is blank, it's not changing because it's not affected by this. And now we can build a formula. So we can equals if B80, which is this cell, if this region is blank. Okay, and I'm just going to close the bracket just so that I can copy the next formula. So if it's blank, I would like to get this. And I'll put a comma and paste it here. And if not, I'm going to copy this formula instead and paste it here. So if I reduce the decimal place, you should see that it's the same. So if this is central, this is east, it reflects. And if I delete this, my NPS will default to if it's blank. So there's a simple way to actually make sure that your formulas are right before you copy paste it in. And now you should have all your data according to two criteria. And in the next session, we're going to cover how to beautify this and how to make this presentable for others to use. So hope you learned something today, and thank you for watching Sheets Magic.